When you hear the name Marilyn Monroe, I'm sure you all think of the vintage beauty with the platinum blonde hair and the bright red lipstick. I do as well, but I also think about more. She was a daring woman who was a fashion model, an actress, and an idol that many are still inspired by today. While she was mediocre in school during her younger years, Marilyn excelled in front of the camera with her beauty and her talent. The shy, passed-around girl had the ability to become a star, and she did. She was considered a sex symbol of her time and worked with many influential people that still say that their work with her was some of their best to date. She shaped society back in the 50s and still manages to do it today. Marilyn Monroe is iconic, and according to Antique Roadshow Insider in September of 2012, even though her death was over 50 years ago, her things are still being sold for thousands of dollars. Her premature death in 1962 raised many questions and broke many hearts, but did not change her legacy. Marilyn Monroe was a figure that surpassed the odds of a terrible childhood and became a star with a lasting legacy that many still indulge in today. Today I would like to share with you a little bit about her life leading up to fame, some of her projects, and her legacy. First, let's talk about her life growing up. In the Encyclopedia of World Biographies, they said that she was born Norma Jean Monroe on June 1st, 1926. Her mom was diagnosed when she was about 7 years old with paranoid schizophrenia, and she was hospitalized. This put Marilyn in foster care, as well as the Los Angeles Orphans Home Society for a few years. She was abused and molested, and because of this, she decided to marry young to get out of it. When she was working for a radio company is when she was discovered by photographers, and that's when her life began to change. Marilyn Monroe changed photography and cinema business forever. She did many different kinds of shoots, ranging from bed shots to bus stops, and the photographers and directors that worked with her said she was stunning and artistic. Douglas Kirkland said in My Favorite Marilyn in Newsweek on January 17, 2014, that he took her favorite shot of herself, which is the one when she was covered in the bed sheet. When she saw the photo, she actually said, "Now that is the woman any man would want to be in bed with, even a truck driver." Milton Green was also in Newsweek, and he stated that he shot Marilyn not just for publication purposes, but for her own needs. He said that Black Sitting was a session that they did together that lasted for over 4 hours, and it had no real purpose behind it whatsoever. Some of the work that I've talked about today still hangs on the walls in many homes. She was such a memorable woman that many of her things and her pictures still sell for thousands and thousands of dollars. Antiques Roadshow Insider said that 33 rare negative prints of Marilyn sold for $11,875, and a Pucci shirt that she wore in 1962, which is the year that she died, sold for $12,500. One of the pricier pieces that was sold was a matte finish picture of her that she signed and also wrote a note to a fan on, and that sold for $31,250. Other items sold for thousands as well, like what they believe to be her last signed check, sold for $15,000. I've shared a lot of information with you today, but I hope that you've learned a little bit about the historic and beautiful Marilyn Monroe. She was passed around, abandoned, and abused, but turned that all around for herself. She worked with many talented directors and photographers who showcased her beauty as well as her talents and made her into a star. She was a fashion mogul, a symbol for sexuality and beauty, and still influences society to this day. She was worth millions back in the 50s, and she's still worth millions in present time. Marilyn Monroe changed how we dress, how we view women's sexuality, and the motion and photography business forever. So the next time you see her face on the cover of a magazine or hanging on the wall in one of the houses that you're visiting, remember, she is iconic and deserves to be remembered forever.